Overall, the Ricky managing to keep up with a farm. He's got the most last hits, but in terms of net worth, that Ricky just standing between, just below with the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, the Slark is managing to get lows. He's got that Orchid. He's going to get the pounce off on the Disruptor here. He's not going to be able to use the Kinetic Field to save himself, as he just managed to right-click him down easily. Ricky as well, moving around looking for the Slark. It looks like he wasn't going to upgrade that Morbid Mask after all. And the Rubik managing to take the Treants. They've got some lift onto the Nature's Prophet, and the Storm Spirit is jumping in, using his overcharge to get some slow off, and he uses the pull as well. The Ancient Apparition is going to fall from this as the Drill Ranger Shadow Blades out. They have the Rubik Treant with the Treants, so they might look to go onto the high ground here with the Nature's Prophet and the Ancient Apparition. Not going to be up for a while. The Ricky is on the top lane. They might be able to see that in a moment. They're going to push into the top lane. They're going to jump in from the Storm Spirit and catch out the drill, but the Static Storm is going to be enough to kill the Storm Spirit. He got the mechanism off from the beast, from the Viper, but it's not going to be enough to save him. But they also managed to drop the Drill Ranger at the cost of that Storm Spirit and a lot of gold. Only losing 2 gold himself, and not a lot of gold for that Storm Spirit kill, despite his high impact and the Sprout just being cut down by those Beastmaster blades, as the Ricky manages to jump onto the Beastmaster even under that Sentry Rod, and they're going to catch him now with the Pounce and the Telekinesis as the Rubik manages to take the jump. Slark on low HP, he's going to get the Death Pact off and he's going to use it to jump away. The Range Barracks on low HP, and Rubik's going to use this as a way to destroy the Radiant's middle barracks, and he's going to try and jump away from that cold feet as the Ricky jumps onto the Viper. Slark coming back in, he's got the mana. They're going to let the Viper fall here, as the Slark's not going to do anything about it. He's full HP again, he's got the Pounce, he's got everything, and the Rubik is just jumping away and sending the Ancient Apparition ultimate towards the enemy base, and it's not going to do anything, not going to find anyone there, as he just places it at the enemy Ancient. Slark getting the vision of the Drill Ranger here from this enemy warder. You can also see the Nature's Prophet. Looks like he's going to pounce on him, easily pouncing onto him, and it looks like it's going to be an easy kill with the Orchid silencing out that Nature's Prophet. The net worth with that Slark having a large amount than anyone else. They've got an 8k advantage, and a lot of it being in the way of that 12k net worth Slark. They still need to keep pushing in though. This Ricky has managed to get the tier 2 at top. He's been rather uncontested with that, as he's managed to keep getting the last hits. Rubik still with that Blink Strike, the Beastmaster and the Storm both farming the woods. Slark looking for some farm of his own, as on the Radiant side, just the Disruptor trying to get the odd last hits, and Drill Ranger getting rid of the Slark illusion, not being aware that it's an illusion as she gusts it, and it's giving them vision, and they've still got a lot of vision in the Radiant jungle. Drill managing to get herself a 2 stack of Ancients. I'm going to give her a little bit of extra farm. But the Storm Spirit has managed to see her. Or maybe he didn't see her, but he jumped in there, assuming maybe she was doing Ancients, and headed that way, but she's not going to be caught out as she manages to move away. Sentry Ward being placed at mid in case of that Slark, who is headed towards the bottom lane to get rid of the Treants that are pushing. And Ricky wants to get the kill onto the Viper. He's got a Sentry sat right underneath him. The Ancient Apparition is going to come out, and he's going to manage to hit the Viper. The Ricky's just going to back away from this. He doesn't want to jump in. The rest of the team wouldn't be able to get there in time, but he's going to back away from this kill. He thinks it's too suspicious, too easy. But the Apparition ult was on point. The Viper wants help from the Storm Spirit. He knows Ricky's nearby. He keeps placing those Sentry wards as a caution. Ricky wants to see if he can find anyone else around, and he's going to look in the rest of the jungle. Not going to be able to find anyone, as both the Ancient Apparition and the Drill Ranger starting to make their way to where the Ricky is. He's going to be able to stand right behind the Rubik. All he has is the Blink Strike, and the Ancient Apparition is going to be off on the Beastmaster as well. The Rubik using that Ghost Scepter to prevent any physical damage coming out from the Ricky, and he's going to back off here as he suspects more movement from the Storm Spirit and the Slark to come around. And it looks like Nature's Prophet going to keep looking for farm on this bottom lane and keep pushing it. Ricky with the most lost hits in the game, but using that as a way of trying to keep up with the net worth. But it's Slug just barreling away with his 13k net worth, and he also has the Gem of True Sight, and he's using that to get rid of the Sentry Wards. Might also look for some Observer Wards. He checks the Ancient spot, doesn't find anyone on the Storm Spirit and the Rubik, both pushing onto the middle lane. They suspect the Ricky's at bottom, and Slark has the Gem of True Sight here, and it looks like they're both going to meet. The Ricky, oh, he just manages to escape the look, but the Slark has spotted him, he's pinging him out, and the Beastmaster now has the Primal Roar. He's going to use it as well as the Axis. The Slark pounds, and the Storm Spirit is going to jump in and get that assist gold as well. And the Ancient Apparition now coming out onto the Viper. Not much that he can do here, and it looks like he's just going to be right click down. He's managed to get the Static Storm off, but he's just going to fall here as the Drow Ranger gets the right clicks off. And mid lane, they have spotted the Nature's Prophet. They're using the Telekinesis. He steals the ultimate, and the Slark misses the pounce, but he jumps into the trees to prevent the Sprout from getting away and pulls him using the Remnant as well, and that is just managing to cut him down easily. Beastmaster now in front of the Drow Ranger. He's pinging it out. The Storm Spirit can jump in here, and it looks like he's going to get closer before he does, and using the Primal Roar onto this Drow Ranger, and the Storm Spirit jumping in with the push as well as the Disruptor jumps in, but he's just going to die as they manage to get the tier 2 bottom Radiant Tower with that. And it's quite simple. This Slark barreling out of control now, and there's nothing on the way of the Radiant side at any kind of level farm as he has, with the Storm Spirit getting the 12k net worth as well. They're going to use this as an opportunity to push the high ground as the Ancient Apparition comes out and hits all three of them, and they're going to try and go in. The Ricky is looking, but the Gem of True Strike is on him so they can see him as he gets orchided and prevented from chasing in, but that Ancient Apparition ultimate is going to be enough to finish off the Beastmaster. Viper rotating towards the bottom lane as well, and the Rubik is going to look for it. He's got the Aghanim Scepter. Storm Spirit not being far off his Bloodstone here, only a few hundred gold. But the Rubik and the Slark has managed to find the Ricky at the mid lane, and Pounce is just going to be enough. Pounce with the right clicks, putting him onto 15k net worth, and it looks like 14k advantage to the Dire side. As Nick Day is picked up by the Telekinesis and stopped. And the Drow Ranger managing to get away with that Shadow Blade as the Ricky also being spotted out by the Slark, and the pull is coming in, so the Nature's Prophet and the Storm Spirit managing to get that kill off, and the Sprout being stolen by the Rubik. They were probably looking for the Treants, but they use it to sprout out the Ancient Apparition here, as the Slark can go in for the pounce. The Storm Spirit jumps on, breaks the trees and pulls him, and manages to get the pounce off, and they've used it to orchid him here, and he's going to be cut down. Not going into the fountain for this, as the Viper is low HP. Looks like they're going to try and get the tier 3 at the bottom, but the Ricky's going to jump in and take that kill on the Viper. No, he's not. He's going to live on 30 HP before the Drow Ranger gets the hit off, but that pounce and the pull was enough to stop him, and this Gem's True Strike is just like, let Slark jump into the fountain, and he's caught by the Disruptor and the glimpse as well. A good glimpse by the Disruptor, as well as standing in front of him to stop him from pouncing out of the fountain, meaning the gem picked up as well as a nice bit of gold for the Disruptor, but it's not going to change much of the game's outcome here unless they can defend. But there's only a buyback on the Drill Rangers, nothing the Ricky, and the Disruptor is going to die here as well. Not much damage output coming out from that Nature's Prophet. And the Ancient Apparition ultimate is going on. He's caught him in the Sprout. He just needs to get a few right clicks off onto him with that Ancient Apparition Aghanim's ultimate, and he's going to use the teleport well and sprout him again, and looks like this is going to be enough with the Primal Roar coming out, and he's going to TP out as it looks. No, getting the right click off, which was enough to put him below the ticks for the Ancient Apparition ultimate. Rubik meanwhile has picked himself up some boots of travels. They want to stop any kind of ratting at all costs, but it's not looking good for the Radiant side, as they have still got to push in that bottom and mid tier 2 tower without having a racks on either of the lanes apart from the melee racks on the bottom lane. It's still going to cause them significant problems if they wanted to push this, although they still do have the tier 2 top lane. But it could easily be pushed in without them being able to defend it, simply because of the higher amount of net worth coming from both the Storm Spirit and the Slark, who've just managed to snowball out of control. This Ricky getting farm out here as the Treants are summoned. They're pushing, they're pinging on the top lane. They think they can see the Ricky, and they can, but they're not going to be able to stop him here. He's going to be able to go in very quickly as the Storm Spirit jumps on. He's going to use his Remnant, but the Ricky can just sit here, but they can see him. No, they can't, but the ticks are going to be going down on him, but he lives on 125 HP. Not being able to spot out that Ricky, it must have been an auto attack on the Ricky's part. Meanwhile, they're going to be able to find the pounce from the invis onto the Disruptor, and he's going to die quickly. And the Cold Feet going to be cast onto the Slark, but it's not going to do anything as the Storm Spirit jumps from across the map to jump onto this Storm Spirit, and he's going onto this Nature's Prophet. The Nature's Prophet is going to TP out. The Drill Ranger has the Shadow Blade, and she's just going to get it off at the last second, but the Remnant is going to be able to get the kill off onto her without any sentry wards around, and no gem left. Although they do have Dust, and Rubik is carrying sentries, but it looks like they're going to keep pushing the mid lane. They know there's only the Nature's Prophet and the Ricky, and the Nature's Prophet is standing in the mid lane. Meanwhile, he's going towards the top where the Ricky is. Looks like they're going to try and take a tier 3 here, but the Rubik knows what they're up to. He's coming in using the Fade Ball to try and clear a bit of the wave whilst the Slark is TPing him, and it looks like he's going to just be able to catch the Ricky out here as he sits there without a teleport, and the Storm Spirit going to zap in. He's looking for the Nature's Prophet, but the Blink is going to be able to put him to safety, but this isn't going to be able to save him. He's giving himself away with the trees around him, and the Storm Spirit is going to use this as an opportunity to jump in Orchid, cut the trees up. And on the bottom lane it's just 2 supports versus the Viper, and the Cold Feet is going to get off on him, but it's not going to help much. The Beastmaster running in again, having that Necro 3 with the Necro units, getting rid of that melee racks that was left. Drill Ranger going invisible. She knows she might be able to get the kill off onto this Viper, and she's going to look for it, but she's spotted out by the Necro units. They're going to expire soon, but they're coming to use with the True Sight. Storm Spirit did manage to get that Bloodstone. He's also going to pick himself up a BKB as well here, while Slark has got a Skadi and the Silver Edge. Rubik picking up a Blink Dagger for more jump in and out. He does have his Boots of Travel on cooldown. He can come to help this push that is coming down now. The Necronomicon is on cooldown, but he's got the ball out, and the Nature Prophet ultimate is coming out as well as the Ancient Apparition one, but it's not going to be enough to kill the Beastmaster here, and no follow-up going to be needed. as all 4 of them come now to push onto the top lane, with the Viper being the only one not around. He's making his way there, albeit slowly. Rubik managing to get the steal off of the Ice Vortex. Just being able to get them some more vision onto that top as the Storm Spirit jumps in and he grabs onto the Ancient Apparition, and now he's left with the BKB, allowing him to jump out of that Static Storm as he leaves with low HP, and the Ancient Apparition ultimate is going to be enough to kill the Beastmaster, as well as the Rubik managing to steal the Cold Feet here, and he's going to use it to get the Nature's Prophet frozen as the Viper comes in with the mechanism, and Slark is just going to be on cleanup here as he gets the right clicks off on the Ancient Apparition. And he gets them onto the Nature's Prophet as well, and it looks like this is going to be a GG as the Disruptor retreats back into his base, getting the auto attacks off onto that tier 3 tower, but this is just going to be mega creeps and it's going to be over. And looking at the graphs, it's a nearly 30,000 gold advantage in the way of the Dire. Beastmaster buying back. He does have Boots of Travel, and the Necronomicon is on cooldown, but the Glimpse coming out. He's going to catch the Storm. No, he doesn't manage to get him in the kinetic field, but they're just going to push them onto the tier 4 towers. As the Storm Spirit jumps in, he knows it's GG. Just hitting onto the Ancient, and this is going to be a GG. A good game from both teams, but at the end the Dire managing to get that significant advantage in way of the gold from the amount of kills they got. A good game from both teams, but at the end the Dire managing to get that significant advantage in way of the gold. Yes.